All right, well, now we learned something. Let me actually take this down. Hey, what's good? 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 All right. Well, now we know we can't do that. Well, now we know. Now we know we can't do that. So, all right. Well, that kind of changes things a little bit, but not so much. But now we know that we can't just sit here and watch these games. So that's good to note for the future. It was good to know that. Sometimes you got to go touch the stove even if you know it's hot. No watching games. Yeah, apparently not. Hey, we had to find out one way or the other, right? Sometimes even when they tell you the stove is hot, you gotta touch it. Sometimes you just got to. Warriors called you two. Stop showing Game 7. No, that ass. I was gassing them up too. Is the funny part. I'm gassing them up, and they're about to lose. um. All right, so I guess we can't do that in the future. So that's good to know. That's really good to note. Um. Some companies are cool. I might try to just send out an email and see for the fuck of it, see if anybody responds. Send out an email, see if anyone responds. Let me watch party some of these games. We'll see. So we'll do that. But that's good to know. It hurts too much to see it. But you know what it really was. What my idea was, why I wanted to look back through these games all the way up to. I think the most recent one that I was able to find that they have a full game of is like the 2020 finals. 20 it was either 2020 or 2021, something like that. Um, but the thing about these games, especially the finals games, is I think it'd be interesting to see how the game has changed over time, right? So for us to go, all right, maybe one week we'll watch, let's say 2008, and then the following week 2009, 10, 11, 12, so on and so forth, so we can see, full games, how the game has shifted. I think it would have been really cool to watch instead of just seeing it through highlights. Sometimes it's hard to see in just highlights, right? When we cherry pick these good moments, it would have been really cool, I think, to see it all play out, week in and week out. So I'll figure that out. That shit got nothing to do with y'all. So I'll figure that part out of it. Because I really think it would be cool to be able to watch these games together, on live, and we could take notes, we could lock in, whatever it is, right, and really have some of these conversations. And I think by the end of it, watching all the evolution of the game year to year, I think we'd be able to appreciate the game in the following years. But enough with that, because apparently we're not allowed to do that. So let's move right along. There's some big news in the WNBA. Resting too. What do you mean? Um, all right. But there was some big news in the WNBA recently. Their household name, their superstar, their cash cow. Excuse me, wrestling too. What do you mean? What about wrestling? Does wrestling? That doesn't make sense to me, but we are discussing this on their channel. But the NBA is dedicated to not let us watch any of its product. Yeah, like, to me, the more people watch it, like the more people watching it for whatever reason, I think is better, right? Old games, new games. I think it's a positive, but whatever. But the big thing this weekend is the WNBA. Let's shift our focus a little bit because I did and I came back on live because I really actually wanted to talk about this. Um, because Caitlin Clark is not playing in the WNBA All-Star game this weekend. She's not participating in the three-point contest, which is really big news, right? She has a groin injury and she's out. Let's read the post together. I'm so excited for Indy to host the WNBA All-Star this weekend. I want to thank the Indianapolis host committee and all of the people that have put endless work in over the past year to put this event together. I know this will be the best All-Star yet. I am incredibly sad and disappointed to say I can't participate in the three-point contest or the All-Star game. I have to rest my body. I will still be at Gainsbridge Fieldhouse for all the action, and I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach our team to a win. Can't wait to see you all out there, Caitlin Clark. And, you know, people are obviously having their reactions to this. A number of fans are saying they're not going to watch the game, and that's obviously that's understandable, right? A lot of WNBA fans are Caitlin Clark fans. Some bullshit women don't even have groins. Anyway, just try to bypass that one. What if, I'm not saying that they did this on purpose, right? Because she looked hurt and she looked visibly frustrated the other day. Because Caitlin Clark strikes me as someone that wants to play the game, loves to play the game, and enjoys this game, right? So she wanted to be out there and compete. But this is also a moment to show everyone how big of a deal Caitlin Clark actually is. Think about this. In a building that has all of the stars in the WNBA together, we take one star out and watch how the numbers drop. I think it's not just big that she's missing this game. I think this could really show the WNBA how big of a deal Caitlin Clark is. Yes, Angel Reese is there, and all of these women who are great are a part of this. And still they're going to suffer because one player is not participating. So I think this weekend is going to show just how big and how important Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA by not participating in the game. And I think there's going to be a very different outlook on her moving forward. And by the way, too, I got you, LMAO. I love Caitlyn, but it does annoy me that the world decided to pay attention because of her, because we had so many greats that were so much more worth watching, in my opinion. Candace Parker was dunking pretty regularly in games and didn't get this crazy to me. Okay, but think about it. But that's just how everything goes, Black Canadian. Imagine how Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar felt when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came in the league, and how much more popular the league became. Imagine Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all-time leading in points, and I'm sitting here next to the motherfucker who's at the Playboy Mansion every other day. He's the big star. He's the smile. All of a sudden, we're called the Showtime Lakers. Like, this is kind of just a part of it. It's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate, but sometimes this is what it takes to take this sport to the next level. Which brings me to this next conversation. The WNBA fans, there's a lot of WNBA fans that are complaining about these new WNBA fans. The fans that have come in because of Caitlin Clark, because of Angel Reese, right? And I understand where they're coming from. Because if y'all have noticed, there's a lot of new basketball fans. Since COVID 2020s, like around that time, there's been a lot of new basketball fans. So the WNBA is dealing with it, and they're seeing it because there's an influx of new WNBA fans, NBA fans that are converting to the WNBA, or that are now, following the WNBA and so on and so forth. But the same thing is happening in the NBA. That's why we have guys that are trying to tell us about Kobe Bryant's story better than us, as if they lived it when they did it. That's why this is happening. When we have these regular conversations about people were comparing T-Mac and Kobe in 2002, and they're like, no, that wasn't the case. I'm like, motherfucker, I was there. I was there. And some of them just can't seem to fathom it, right? Because y'all became fans in 2020. Y'all were stuck at home during COVID watching basketball and learned the game then. Right? So this isn't something that's exclusive to the WNBA. The NBA is dealing with it right now too, with this huge influx of new, and let's call it what it is, younger fans. Right? So that, I think we're seeing it on both sides, and we're seeing issues on both sides, right? The WNBA and the NBA. But I think it's growing pains, because both leagues, from the looks of it, are experiencing growth right now, right? I hope Juju gets the hype she deserves. I hope so too, and I think she is. A lot of those Caitlyn fans are MAGA and far-right supporters. That's what's making things super weird. Social media is becoming a mess. I was a basketball fan, but I didn't start watching full games on regular till 2020. Kids don't go back. They just watch now and assume based on field goal percentage. But again, Elijah, like, again, I made that blanket statements, but a lot of people aren't like you, right? A lot of people aren't like you, Elijah, where I get that we've had some of these heated conversations and whatnot, right? But I think the difference is you're someone that's open to asking questions and pretty open to learning new things, right? Some of these new fans, like I saw someone talking about the Steph Curry versus Magic Johnson debate, right? And he was talking about Steph Curry has a unanimous MVP award, right? Unanimous. He goes, you know what that mean? You know what that mean, unanimous? You know what that means? Every single person voted for him that year, which is cool. That's great. Great. 1 year you are the unanimous MVP. That's still 2 MVPs to 3. Like, that's the part that people like he argued that so confidently. It's still 2 to 3. It's still 5 chips to 4. Right? You got the scoring champ. I have 4 assist champions. Like, 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 and listen, I understand there's you could feel Steph is better, right? But he just said that so confidently without context, right? Without context, that it was just mind blowing to me. Let me take a look at this MVP voting right here. Wait, what year was this? This was 2015-16? Huh. Interesting. Uh Steph's impact on the game was more important than the MVPs. Yeah, no, listen, you could talk impact, but when we talk about careers like that, like some of the accolades, like he said that as if the MVP counted for more than one. Like, I get you want to talk about the weight and the value of something, but it, let's not act like this isn't a conversation that we can have, Magic or Steph. Right, like let's not act like he just jumps over Magic Johnson just like that. Like, that's definitely true. I talk to people about basketball because I like it, but I say I think you are wrong with fair support evidence, and they call me out my name, attack me, say I don't know about. Yeah, no, I'd be like that. Steph impacts the game. It was more important than the MVPs. Dog, I thought he froze Jason out his breath and hit the mannequin challenge. Bro, I'm just looking. Yeah, they neck and neck. No, I think they're neck and neck, and it really comes down to, would you prefer a scoring point guard or a traditional point guard? Like, that's really what this comes down to. But the way these newer NBA fans talk about it, like, oh, it's not even close. Like, like Magic Johnson didn't average, mind you, right? You want to talk about points? This man averaged 11.2 assists for his career. 11.2 assists for his career. Like, that's crazy. Like like I get it, right? But personally, I don't think mine people place him higher because I always said people seem to overlook the fact that he played with Kareem. One thing I respect about Braun, Kobe, and D Wade is you can't say it because he is with those guys. They won with different systems or people. That's a knock nobody says about Steph. Who is top 3 all time? What you mean? Oh, Kareem is top 3 all time. Yeah, but I mean, people don't say that like we've talked about here because Kevin Durant has been a topic. People don't say, oh, but you played with Kevin Durant and that's why you got 4 rings to Steph, right? Like, we don't hear that about Steph Curry either. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, right? Nobody says that about Magic, but nobody says that about Steph either. If we're being fair, right? People call Kevin Durant the second option with their chest out. Mad confident that he's the second option. I'm like, are we bugging? Are we watching the same shit? But dog, the 19.5, 7.2, and 11.2 for his career, is those are crazy. Like, those are some crazy numbers, bro. Those are some crazy numbers. The fact that I think Larry Bird averaged 24 and 10 for his entire career. eh, The fact that he got 2 without KD, and no, it is a big deal. It is a big deal still. The truth, I was just saying, I'm unsure if Magic ever won without Kareem. I could be wrong. These guys are great. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like we can use the what if in certain scenarios, but when it comes to actually comparing the body of work of their careers, because that's a part of, these rankings, right? You can't say, oh well, what if somebody this that, like, it is what it is, right? Like, next to Kareem, this guy still averaged 19.5, 7.2, and 11.2 in his careers with all of the accolades that he had, right? Um, and Steph also did his thing with those guys. Still, guy is 28 a game next to Kevin Durant, right? Like, they're both unbelievable. I was more so like again, to bring back the convo. Some of these new kids talk about this like it's not even close, and that's just not true, right? We're just trying to tell this story, how it is. Magic winning all of his besides Kareem is why I got Kobe above him. Watching Kobe is why I got Kobe above most of these guys. It's like, I ain't never seen no shit like that, bro. Like, listen, hold up. We already got in trouble, but fuck it. Accolades only. Because if you do accolades, right? If you do accolades, let's do Magic, Kobe. No, I will say I didn't watch Prime Jordan live, but yeah, still. But if you're talking like accolades, right? And we were talking earlier the way that they point them, um, you have the three MVPs to the one MVP for Kobe. Three times Finals MVP to two Finals MVP for Kobe. Both are, what is it? How many? Both are five-time champion, four-time assist champion to two scoring champs for Kobe. I think if you do straight accolades, if you do straight just like accolades and awards, I think people would probably, if you just do straight accolades and you don't really consider the skill and the eye test, Magic, without bias in terms of accolades, probably beats out Kobe. But watching Kobe play, that's just, I've been explaining Kobe and how he played to my friends, and it is a certain level you had to be at to do the things he did. Like, dude dropped 81, basically killing in the mid-range. That's the thing that I think, that's what people don't understand. Right? That's something that people genuinely do not understand. Because we talk about defense a lot, right? We talk about the lack of defense, and we get on Luka Doncic's defense all the time, right? But this is the thing. The media always talks about these are the most talented, skilled players we have ever seen. These guys are as skilled as ever. We have bench guys doing Michael Jordan type moves. Right? This is the NBA that we're in 2025. So if that's the case, imagine how hard it is to guard everyone. I think that's the thing that some people forget, right? They're not, these guys are really good. like these guys are really good. And some of those guys that are in these comments talking about, yo, you should have been able to stop, da 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 da. Listen, if I go to a park with you, the person in the comments that's talking shit about this person, Luka's defense, for example, if someone did a left dribble hezzy on your ass in a regular park, Joe Schmo in the park did that to you, you would fold. Let alone, fuck it, let alone Jalen Green do that shit to you. You wouldn't know what to do. So I get that we critique it because, yes, these guys can be better. Absolutely. But I think some folks forget how good these guys actually are. And you can't say in one breath, these guys are the most skilled players we've ever seen, but then also say, how you not stop that when the motherfuckers are all doing some Allen Iverson shit? Like, everyone is. like, come on, man. I respect guys like Kobe not being able to hit, keep shooting, then firing up when need. To me, is extremely hard to do. The fact is that the dudes were always this athletic, just not as free-minded because of coaching. And then also, like, think about, we talk about, you know, a lot of teams are pretty much playing 4 or 5 players out. There is no help. As opposed to back then, if you're guarding someone, you got help at the nail. There's someone in the low block. There's someone like you always have help. That's why guys spoke about scoring in a phone booth. But you are literally, remember Reeves Island, right? Remember what is it, Daryl Reeves, right? The cornerback, Reeves Island. Everybody's on an island nowadays. You're never not on an island nowadays, right? And defenses are also starting to adjust, where it's like a half man, half zone. This person's loading up over, like, it's just different nowadays, man. They're skilled, but the competition level has dropped for real. People should try to play a game with guys bigger than them. The conditioning along is impressive. Night-to-night basis in the NBA is very low-level basketball in the regular season. I don't think they were always this athletic or skilled. They were a different type of athletic. I said athletic, not skilled. I mean, yeah, we've always had athletes. We've for sure always had athletes like Vince Carter back then, Desmond Mason, Jason Richardson when he came in, like just straight super athletes. If y'all don't tell me this guy is not one of the best motherfuckers you have ever seen in your life, oh my God. Bro, this man went from the left side of the court all the way to the right side. Didn't see nobody. he didn't see a motherfucker in a Lakers jersey. I think he blacked out. He knew exactly where he was going and shot that bitch. He didn't see one Laker jersey right there. I promise you, he didn't see one Laker jersey right there. This guy is so nasty, at that dog. Point was,
yeah, what you are. I am that kid.
This guy is fucking unreal, dog.
Kobe does it. How did he get to that, baby?
This guy is different, man. Give me that. Dog. Wait, now we gotta go see some MJ highlights real quick, dog. Cause this motherfucker is this guy right here
to compete to win.
Arias, I don't think Wemby is special as people say. No, that dude is special. Players dribble more than 3 times on a possession, or the ball didn't touch the big, and the post players were getting sub. Facts. now any given night, whoever can pop off because the confidence from the coaching staff has changed and philosophy on how to win has changed. No, that's for real. This man is still frying everyone's favorite player, though. I'm so sorry.
Playing new eras.
Standing bottom and work
This is
and go out
literally
and play
the
the best I
greatest
can.
motherfucker I've ever seen. Basketball,
Jumps over Terry. Watch him just hang in the air. Everybody else is already down when he puts the shot up.
People ask me, you really think you can fly? I said, yeah, for a little while.
And that's what I'm talking about. When he jumps over.
Yo, people really think they can stop this dude. Like, like, this is how I know some of these new gen kids have just never actually, like, if you've never seen this, like, I'm so sorry to tell you, man. It just is what it is. Before possessions mattered more and teams would make the most of them. Now teams shoot the first open three because of analytics. I was actually watching the Jordan 63-point game, right? Against the Celtics, and they did this like little pick down low. Yeah, honestly, think how much better Kobe's three would be, or MJ's three, right? If they were able to develop in nowadays time, you know, with everything that they had, it would be unbelievable. If players like Kobe or Jordan were only 15 right now, they would be way better than they were before, simply because they'd be able to stretch the floor even more. I'm trying to look at a good example. If we look at jumping guys back, then jump as high, but they are better at floating from what I see versus today. Jumpers like Toppin that can jump high, but is more explosive. Kobe was shooting like 2 threes a game when he averaged 35 in the league that was scoring 98 a game as a team. I also always told people Kobe was a much better 3-point shooter than his percentage showed, because he was always taking tough contested shots. When he shot open threes, very high percentage. Very high percentage. And Michael Jordan, who came into the league at 13%, right? He shot some years, and granted, he wasn't, I don't even think he was taking one a game, but ended some years at like 40%, ended the finals at like 40%. So these guys could have been good, much better 3-point shooters than nowadays. Like watching, like it blows my mind that people don't think about that. No, that's facts. They could float and do those things because they were anticipating contact. It was a skill that was necessary. Wait, let's take a look at this, right? And hopefully we don't get in trouble for none of this shit, but
Dennis Johnson will check the matchups, guarded by
look at the difference in this NBA.
Dennis
right?
Johnson.
Look at the difference in
Check them.
this. Look at this spacing and the shot that they're trying to get this shot right
matchups,
here.
guarded by Jordan.
Like, just look at how different the game is.
Inside McHale, and McHale gets a quick hoop inside.
We're trying to get a little paint touch and a quick
His
layup.
inside may be a little quicker, but they prefer not to run. At least they didn't in the first
Michael
game.
Jordan was
Jordan
isolating everyone and the
Danny
mother
Ainge had
did
a
not
fine
give a
year.
fuck.
Larry Bird, guarded by Woolridge.
So it's just a completely different basketball game that we have. That's why I wanted to go through some of these old games to now. It would have been really fun, but maybe we'll figure out another way to do it. We'll see what happens. Kobe taking good shots was like 46% from three. Now he would have shot unreal if he was on a better team, or he was just focused on it, or he was a much better 3-point shooter than his percentages showed. It's just math. LMAO. That's facts. And let's just call what it is with Kobe. I think he was trying to take tough shots sometimes. Like to him they were good shots, but to the rest of the field they were bad tough shots. And that's just how Kobe played, right? That's just he was trying to shoot that shit in your face. Like that man did not care. That man did not care at all. But let me see. It was literally 46%. I mean, that don't really surprise me. Like I said, his standstill shot was so good. Like, and that comes from just the amount of shots that he's taken in his life, right? That he took in his life. It was just a lot of bad shots. Like, it's just a lot of bad shots. That's really what it was. That's really what that came down to at the end of the day. But let me see. I think we are nearing like almost 2 hours again for today. Let me see. Is there anything else? Let me see if there's any more breaking news. Nope, there's no other breaking news for today, man. That's it for right now. Let me see. Check if there's anything on Reddit. Any news? Malik Monk. Nobody wants Malik Monk. Blazers rookie Yang Hansen. What's this, man? What's this? I bet. Yeah, that's what they teaching him. Bumba Clark, can I get a Pascal in the chat? Oh, second apron is going to destroy the NBA. Getting a PS5 as a gift. This guy's been all over, dog. Yo, he can hoop too. One thing I see older guys are very skilled at is not getting injured. I mean that is a part of it too, but their moves are also just less taxing on the joints, I think. Home loss. Oh wow, they almost held 6 teams. What?
A moment ago, we were talking about that last meeting between the Nets and the Pistons at Continental Airlines Arena in New Jersey. That was back on March the 18th.
You see the Pistons rooting because they had held 5 opponents under 70 points, 5 straight for an NBA record. So New Jersey fouls Mike James on purpose with just over 13 seconds remaining so that maybe they could get one last shot at the basket to break that string. Well, there it is. Williams.
Bro, they were celebrating. That's the type of shit they were celebrating, dog. That's the type of shit they were celebrating. Like hand checking alone, that was actually the biggest reason why dribbling was not happening back then. You had to be different to be able to be a dribbling god. The average great ball handler today wouldn't be able to compete simply because of strength. Well, I also think there just wasn't that many ball handlers, Black Canadian. Think about it, because when actual ball handlers came into the league, like a Tim Hardaway Sr., like a Nick Van Exel, when Penny Hardaway came in, and point guards weren't coming down with their back turned, how are you going to hand check and put your hand on someone's hip if they're dribbling in front of you? Right? How are you going to hand check someone? Like they couldn't hand check Kevin Johnson because I can't put my hand on you because you're dribbling in front of me. Now, if you have your back turned to me, right, now I could put my hand on your hip and I could try to direct you. But once ball handlers started to come in, hand checking wasn't as impactful on those guys. Those guys were scoring 20 a game. Right? Those guys came into the league and were impactful because of you couldn't hand check them. Right? Because they're coming up the floor dribbling in front of you. Not like the guys back in the day that were bringing the ball up like this, trying to direct the offense. It all went hand in hand. Most players weren't working on ball handling due to coaching and scheme. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the idea of hand checking, right? Hand checking is being able to put your hand on someone's hip, right? And you could try to control and dictate where they go. Now you can, nowadays you can kind of do it when guys are in the mid post. They kind of allow you to get away with it. But like I said, the second guys went from here to I'm a dribble in front of you, you can't hand check me from the 3-point line no more. Back then, people forget that their hand was a part of the ball while dribbling and shooting. Reach-in fouls weren't really a thing. That's why they put their back towards the defense. Even Tim Hardaway came in when the NBA was cracking down on that. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of what is, but I do think it's definitely a lot less effective when you have a bag. Like, back before, if you dribbled in front of you, you could literally just smack their hand, and that was a tactic. Yeah, but also little ass Isaiah Thomas was frying everybody too, and he talk about a guy in the era of hand checks. The smallest guy was frying people because he could handle the basketball, right? All of that stuff is cool, but if you can't physically keep your hand on me because I'm doing all this, right? It just that becomes a little bit less effective. What viral clip of Joe Johnson? If a defender can jab at every dribble, it makes it difficult. No, it for sure makes it difficult, but I mean, you're not going to jab at every Kyrie dribble neither. He's frying your shit. I mean, yeah, most young players, but we're just thinking, I'm thinking about just some of the best ball handlers like Chris Paul, right? Like a Kyrie. Honestly, I'm thinking about it. Maybe someone like a Jamal Crawford maybe would have had a little bit of a harder time. He was a little bit more upright. Even when I guard my high school boys, they be freaking out because they not used to physical defense. LMAO. I think also some people just underrate how big these motherfuckers are, man. Like Joe Johnson is all of 6'8". They not used to it. I get that, but back in the 90s and 80s, they would fry you and then get body slam in the paint and would be uncomfortable to do that again. No, facts. That facts. But see, that's like some guys call that tactics, right? And then that's where some of the beef comes up with the newer generation versus the older generation, because they're like, you can't guard me. All you could do is foul me and knock me over, right? And to an extent, there is some truth to that. But back then, you were allowed to do that. And to your point, that was a tactic. And you're going to risk your body doing this over and over again. But I understand just everything altogether back then worked into the thought process of how these players played. Well, you're a grown-ass man. You know the thing, too, right? And this is the frustrating thing about the rules, right? This is the frustrating thing about them adding an extra step, about some of these, about the people flopping and whatnot. If you call the game a certain way, players will adjust. Right? If you stop what happened to Trae Young and James Harden? Yeah, they found a way to still be effective, even taking out some of the things that they did well. Right? Players will adjust. They will learn how much they can get away with, and like it's a part of the game. Right? If you call the game by the rules, players will adjust, and that's the frustrating part about this. It was a completely different game from a mental standpoint, so I genuinely believe a lot of players stopped themselves from doing things to extend their careers, or some players straight up just got pushed out and lost themselves in the promise. I promise some players won't. Some players do not like physicality. No, absolutely. Some players do not like physicality, right? Some players do not like physicality. The lack of physicality is what has made the game so accessible to everyone. But we've also spoken about how we do think there is a shift, right, in the NBA right now, right? We've also spoken about how, like, we saw how the Oklahoma City Thunder was playing defense. They're pretty physical. Houston's defense was pretty physical. I think we are slowly coming back to it, right? Slowly coming back to some of that, and it doesn't have to be 80s 90s basketball, right? We can, I think, reach a happy middle ground where we utilize the three, right? We still got the mid-range, like we utilize analytics properly. We still have physicality without it being a brawl. Like I genuinely believe in the next 5 or so years we're gonna get a happy medium, and the game is gonna be in a beautiful spot. I genuinely believe that. And players will adjust. That's just what I think. There's a lot of players that wouldn't compete if the rules were different and allowed for players to overstrength others. Like, we are both Raptor fans. We should know physical ball is never going away. The game is obviously still physical. But in comparison, the 80s were damn near combat sports. I said earlier, but I believe the game is in a good spot right now. Yeah, because then all that did, right, is it filtered out. There were some of those guys that were doing combat sports in the 80s that had skill, right? And we're filtering out the ones that didn't, right? That's just what it is. But I think we're trending upwards. Yeah, and it's getting pride again. I think players have been getting shit on by media enough, and some of them are now responding in their game. I think we have guys that are going after it. I think we're in a really, really good spot. People glorify the 80s and 90s. No, I think those guys, I think some of them just don't get enough shine. The way some... Think about it. We're watching the NBA now, and people are talking about, oh, TJ McConnell don't get enough shine. This person don't get enough shine. That person don't get enough shine. Imagine people in the 80s and in the 90s that were 30, 40 years removed from their careers, right? Like, it's the same thing. I love that we got big men that can shoot and stretch the floor, but they can still be mean and monstrous. I mean, yeah, exactly. Think of Joel Embiid when he wants to be in the paint when he's healthy. You know, Jokic could be really mean. So, you know, there's still elements of it there. Granted, there could be more in some instances, but I think we're trending in the right direction. But with that being said, man, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. We did like an hour and change, and now we did another 50 on the back of that. Man, we've been putting a whole lot of content out. That's a big thing the NBA has lacked because the center position hasn't mattered for so long. No, that's facts. Maybe going to Europe, we'll get some more skilled big men, or to teach our American players some more skill in the big man category. But that's going to do it for me for now, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Before I get out of here, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. As always, we tried watching a game today. Clearly, it's not working, so we'll try to figure out something else. But thank you guys so much for allowing me, for hanging out with me, man, and coming back after the stream went down. But thank you, man. Thank you, Elijah. I know you were number one. I'm going to remember that you was number one. Thank you, Black Canadian. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, man. Y'all are the goats over here. The center's not being a fixture for defense is what killed the NBA in the 2010s. We're getting back to protectors. We just getting ones that can do more things. Thank God for Europe. Honestly, and I think this... And we'll end off on this. Richard Jefferson saying he thinks USA might lose in the Olympics. Everyone talking about these European players are better than the American players. I think all of that discussion is creating a healthy bit of rivalry, a healthy bit of competition, because I think we're going to have some American players now that are, oh, you saying I'm going to dunk all over this guy. I think that's coming, right? Oh, I'm going to show you. You think Luka? Oh, you think Jokic? I think that's coming, and that's a great thing, right? We got to thank European basketball and these European players, these international players for that, because we were the hunted for so long, right? American players were the hunted for so long. And now to transition to the hunter, I think is a good thing. And we have players already that are in that path. And I think more are going to come. So I think it's a good thing. It might be currents for USA in 2028 if KD, Bron, and them don't play. I will say, but people talk about, I get that. No, these teams are good. Someone was talking about if Canada decides to somehow get what was the other team, the South Sudan players, because apparently a lot of those guys were in Canada and could have Canadian citizenship. So if they can get a big lineup from Sudan to play in Canada, that could be different. But when we talk about Jokic, when we talk about Giannis, Shea, Luka, they're all on separate teams, right? I think that's one thing we got to remember. It's not like they're all on the same team. If they're all on the same team, by God, I don't know. But they're all on their teams with the best Serbians, the best Slovenians, the best French, the best Canadians, right? All of the players we're talking about, Tatum and Edwards, like all of these guys are going to be together. So I still think USA has the edge. We do have to just continue to watch everything, right? We can have Wemby, Risa, Shea. If those guys develop, that could be really scary. But we just got to watch. We just got to sit and watch, man. But the NBA, basketball in general, between the NBA, the European game, the Olympic game, the WNBA, everything is in a great spot, right? Everything is in a great spot. And you got to feel good about that moving forward. These young guys don't adjust to FIBA rules nearly as well, literally because of physicality, like I said. USA's superstars' dominance isn't as dominant anymore because the NBA is playing a softer brand while the Euros are playing the fine playing final physical rules. I mean, let's throw let's throw Banchero out there, see what the fuck happens. It's gonna be like Melo. It's gonna be like Melo. They were like, oh shit. oh shit. Just throw the big ass lineup. We throw let's see. We throw Paolo Banchero. We throw Tatum out there. Who else we got? I swear, Zion. Yo, imagine we somehow have Anthony Edwards, Tatum, Zion, and Paolo Banchero in the starting lineup. Talk about size, athleticism, all that physicality might not matter. But remember 2022. No, facts. But we'll see. Guys are still developing. They're gonna need Jayson Tatum, so Steve Kerr can't be the coach. Remember I said that Steve Kerr cannot be the coaches. They're going to need Jayson Tatum for sure. They're gonna need Jayson Tatum. That's what I remember. That USA FIBA team was stacked on paper and they were trash. FIBA 2022. This can't be what you talking about. Wait, what? This can't be what you're talking about, bro. And maybe it was the 2023 FIBA team because it can't be the 2022. Let me see. Yeah, it had to have been a different year. It can't be that because I'm looking up the 2022 and it is not. I think it was the 2023. It was the 2023. Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram. This team? I wouldn't call this team stacked. Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards. I mean, you look at 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys are not the player that they are today either, right? 1, 2, 3. Even Halliburton. You know, you take these players today. Maybe it's a different. Maybe you get a different scenario. I mean, on paper, but you got to think 2023, not 2025. It's a great idea for the future, right? No, you're absolutely right. But these guys were still not. They were good then, but they're not who they are right now. Anthony Edwards is not nearly as good as he is right now. Halliburton not as good as he is right now. None of these guys are. We're talking about. Must be ready for the physical adjustments. No, you are absolutely right. That is for sure an adjustment. But like we were talking about, let's see. I'm just curious what their everyone's ages were at that time. 2023. So Anthony Edwards was 21. Banchero was 20. Brunson was 26. And in 2028, that's 3 years from now. Anthony Edwards is going to be 26. Banchero is going to be 25. Brunson is going to be 30. So it's going to be for sure. They're still going to have to they're still going to have to deal with the physicality, but it was different. I was watching them struggle. Ant was losing themselves ball because he was too soft, and I never thought that. It opened my eyes to how good these young guys actually work, because almost nobody stepped up, and Ant did, and that's why I'm a huge fan. Like, Jayson Tatum should have been averaging like 25. From the looks of this roster, maybe that was a different Olympic team, this 2023, Jayson Tatum was not on that roster, on that FIBA team. If I'm a fan of USA dominance, it was concerning. That's also just a narrative, I think. Like having dominance is great, but the fact that, I mean, and it means obviously the rest of the world is catching up. But getting great basketball games on the Olympic stage is awesome. Right? Imagine we're watching swimming or track, and it's neck and neck, and then you go to the basketball game and it's a 50-point blowout. I also think it's great. Now, dominance and the amount of times that we win gold, yes, but the games not being so dominant, I'm not necessarily mad about, because those games last year were legendary. And now, like, if you're an NBA player, you get to stick your chest out about these games, because they're not these 40, 50-point blowouts where like nobody wants to talk about it because it wasn't even close. Yes, the rest of the world is much better. And honestly, the same way I will say because I said the other day, by 2028 our young guys are going to get better. You have to expect Canada, France, Serbia, Slovenia, their younger players are also going to be better by 2028. So that's also something to keep in mind. Maybe we're not seeing all of them in the NBA, but realistically, they're going to be better by 2028. I'm concerned. I'm just not as concerned as everyone else, I guess, is what it is. I love getting competition. I'm just speaking from the perspective of what I expected. I think they're still going to hold it down, but that's just me. I think we're going to have some bigs that'll come out of nowhere still. But yeah, man, you know what? That's going to do it for me for now. We'll try this again. But thank you guys so much. Before I get out of here, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll be back here on Monday at the same time. Thank y'all, man. Y'all are the ghosts. No matter what, USA expected to win, and if they don't medal one year, something that's really bad, and it could happen. No, that's facts. Not winning gold is obviously anything but gold, right? Anything but gold is unacceptable. But I'm still confident they'll win in gold, whether it's a bit of a harder path or not, but I think they'll win gold. But that's going to do it for me for now, man. Y'all have a great rest of y'all weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see y'all later, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.